further ado, so let's start with Miss Prasasti Imani. Prasasti, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Ali. Good afternoon, educators. Thank you very much for joining this event. This university partnership event is part of Pearson EdXL continuous support to the centers, specifically to centers in Indonesia. Because we hear you. You said that the progression to the global university is one of your goals to work with us. You said that it is very important for schools to have direct conversations and partnership with global university to help your students' progressions. Those reasons are the main background why we have this event. I hope you enjoy and find this event meaningful for your schools and especially for your students. Feel free to ask questions to the speakers. We are more than happy to connect you all with the speakers after this event series ends. And next, I would like to introduce my colleague, Duncan Hamsfield. He's based in the UK. He's the International Progression and Recognition Manager. So Duncan, the screen is yours now.
Leslie, thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen with you all and have a short presentation that I'd like to share with all of you today. Okay. Okay, can everyone see my presentation?
Not yet, Duncan.
Not yet. Okay,
yep.
Let's try again. Let's try again. And share screen. Okay. Can everybody see it now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, correct.
Wonderful, wonderful. We got past the first hurdle. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to speak here today. And it's a real pleasure to meet everyone virtually, all the school leaders from around Indonesia. So it's a real pleasure to talk to you today. So my name is Duncan Hampshire. I'm the International Progression and Recognition Manager. And my role is to support our centres, universities, students, families, and anyone else involved with our qualifications in helping students to progress and move internationally with their IGCSEs and their international A-levels. And it's my job to help support this. As previously said, I'm based here in London, United Kingdom, but I regularly travel to different parts of the world to help support our learners reach universities in different countries. So I'm just going to talk to you today briefly a little bit about the work that we do, some of the successes that we have, and the different ways in which our students can move internationally with their qualifications. So I'm sure you all have seen this before and understand this process, but I think it's a good starting point when talking about the international progression and international movement of our students. This is a diagram demonstrating on one side, left-hand side, the vocational routes through BTECs, and then through the EdXL awards, the international GCSEs and the international A-levels, and how they progress onto higher education. As you will be aware, our qualifications are designed in conjunction with higher education to allow for progression and lead on successful learning at universities, not just in the United Kingdom, but worldwide. Worthwhile mentioning here also the extended project qualification, which is included there, which is also an excellent preparation for university as well in the wider skills that is offered. So you can see here the different streams that we have within our processes. So, in terms of our internationally recognized awards, so Pearson EdXL A-levels are formally recognized by more than 600 universities worldwide. What does that mean? That means over 600 universities have formally written to us to recognize the qualifications. However, that is not the extent of the recognition, which is far bigger than that. That's a list which you can see the link at below, which have actually formally recognized it, but many, many more do. And you'll notice within the list at the bottom there that in many cases, the national recognition organization, be that the Ministry of Education or the ENIC-NARIC within that country, give blanket recognition to our A-levels for that country for access to university. Speaking of ENIC-NARICs, our qualifications, our international A-levels, are benchmarked by the UK NARIC. Now, what does that mean? So the UK NARIC is an organisation which has a government charter to operate in the United Kingdom and offer information on comparability of international awards. And they have benchmarked our international A-levels as being at the same level as a domestic GCSE advanced level qualification. So they're exactly the same. And indeed, they go through identical quality processes within Pearson Edexcel, which once again demonstrates how transferable and how internationally recognized the A-levels are. An interesting fact actually about our A-levels is that when traveling to the US, often there will be credit provided by universities for first year study. So not just does it give you access to US universities, in many cases credit will be given off the first year of awards. And you will see that listed very often on the credit pages, the admissions and credit pages of US universities. But also we have a statement from ECE credential evaluators on our website, also formally recognizing that credit should be given to the A-levels as they travel to the US. As I said, you can see the list here at the base, a list of all the universities that recognize our awards, and also some of the international organizations that recognize our awards there as well. And this list is constantly growing. But to highlight some of the people on that list, all Russell Group universities in the UK, including Oxford and Cambridge, all UK universities, as you'd expect. The Geo8 in Australia, obviously, as well. And then a range of top universities, Yale, Columbia, Dartmouth, MIT, Caltech, a number of the big names, all receiving our international A-level students. Canada as well, including some of the big names there, Toronto, University of British Columbia, McGill, as well as the majority of other Canadian universities, and then across Asia as well, including Hong Kong, Tokyo, Chinese University of Science and Technology, and National University of Singapore. So as you can see, our students are progressing successfully worldwide to leading institutions. We're constantly looking to grow the number of universities that formally recognize our international A-levels, and part of my role is to reach out to universities, and almost every week I'm in contact with a university that hasn't formally recognized us, who are interested in joining that group. And you'll see that statement that I share with you on the web changes as well. However, of course, we are always looking for help and support in gaining recognition for our awards. And the link below leads to our recognition statement, which can be shared with any universities that wish to be listed as formally recognizing our A-levels. That once completed, that can be returned to me, and they will be added onto the list of our universities that we partner with. If, for example, you have a student who goes to university and you would like to send on this recognition statement as well, feel free to do that. We're more than happy for this to be shared with new universities. As I said, you can help by sharing your success stories with us. If you have students who've gone to top universities, who've done exceedingly well, please do share that with us. We're always looking to share the success and share the benefits that international A-levels give. As you will have seen, from this presentation so far, what we're seeing increasingly is different journeys taken by our students who've completed A-levels. Traditionally, they might have gone in certain study routes, but post-pandemic, we are seeing tremendous variety and tremendous movement. Our students really are a truly international group, and we see them traveling to 2-3 countries to complete their education. And A-levels really are the starting point of that journey. They really are the point at which really leads some of the best students to university, all around the world. As I said, please do share any success stories you have. We're always keen to hear them. And that's me. That's a very brief introduction, because I know that you're going to be hearing from colleagues at different universities around the United Kingdom. But I'll hand over to Ali, and I'm sure you'll have some questions for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Duncan, for a very brief but complete presentation. So everyone, if you have questions for Duncan, you can type the questions in the Q&A box, or if you would prefer to talk directly to Duncan, simply use the raise hand function, then we will unmute you to deliver the questions live. Okay, so we actually have Miss Tamara Wina raise hand. Okay. Yeah, okay. So Miss Tamara, I think you can use your microphone now to directly ask Duncan the question. Miss Tamara? Perhaps it's an accidental press of a button, Duncan. Okay, so right. So anybody else wants to ask question? Okay. I guess no question yet, Duncan. So maybe during the sessions, they can always raise the question, and you can specifically,
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. And the participants can specifically address you in the questions, so that we will give opportunity for the participants to ask a question. Thank you, Duncan, for the session. So
thank you very much.
Now,
Thank you.
right. So now let's go directly to the first presentation, everyone. This one will come from the Deputy Director of International Development at London Metropolitan University, England. Kenyon, are you there?
Yes, I am here. So let me switch on my camera so everybody can see me. Yeah,
great,
good morning
great.
from London.
Good morning. Yes, so Kenyon, so this 30 minutes is your session. Please share anything for us so that we can know London Met even better. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. And it's absolutely a pleasure to be here to talk to you a little bit more about London Metropolitan University. So I will do a short presentation, and hopefully we'll cover majority of the information you need to know about London Met. And obviously, if you do have any questions about our university, and please do feel free to ask at the end. So as introduced, so my name is Kian Zhu, and I'm the Deputy Head of International Recruitment at London Metropolitan University. So my main responsibility is to look after the 4-degree recruitment at the university. So I have a team of 6, and which is responsible for for the recruitment from different countries. So now let's move on. So hopefully you guys can see my screen moving, and if it doesn't, and do let me know. So let's talk about location first. So when you come to study at London Med, and you should remember that you will be centrally located. So we have 2 campuses across London. So the first campus I'd like to talk a little bit about is our Holloway campus. So Holloway campus is for any courses which is not at architecture and design. Okay, so if you're studying, for example, business, computer science, and etc., so you will be taught at our Holloway campus. And our Holloway campus is about 3 minutes walk from Armory Stadium. And also it's about 10 minutes walk, 10 minutes on the tube ride from King's Cross. And also the second campus is our Aldgate campus. So if you're interested in studying art, architecture, and design, and you will be taught at our Aldgate campus, and which is about 15 minutes walk from the Tower Bridge. So you can see that the location is absolutely excellent, and both campuses are well connected with London Tube, so students can travel from airports directly into the university. And also students can get around very easily. So definitely this would enable students to enjoy what London has to offer. So that's about the location. So let's move on to so now I'm going to show you a few pictures. So we are city-based university. So we don't have something so-called campus as normally students would traditionally know about. So the student needs to understand when they come to study at university in London, and we're pretty much a city-based campus. So the student will pretty much enjoy the metropolitan life. So for example, this is one of the our one of the picture of the Holloway campus. So what students need to do basically is when they walk out of tube station, the university is right in front of them. What they need to do is cross the road, and then they will need to know which building to access. And please do not worry, we will give you a full induction, and also you will have a lot of campus tours during your orientation week to help you to get familiarized with our campus. And also moving on to the second campus, which is the Aldgate campus. So Aldgate campus is actually in the City of London. So that would also give students a fantastic location to study art, architecture, and design. So it is in Zone 1 as well. So students will have the best location. And also for students who study art, architecture, and design, you will have your workstation within the university. So you don't necessarily have to work from your bedroom, for example. So we would provide you with that learning environment. And we appreciate doing creative work. You need space, and you may want to work with others as well. So that's about our both campuses. And also within the university, we have something called a learning center, in another word, library, but we don't call them library. So the learning center, so on the ground floor, so student will be able to talk. So student will be able to do group work, and, because for majority of that, the programs we do, and student will be asked to work in a group to do different projects and etc. So this would give students space to to work together. As they move on to the first floor, so where the student will have to be quiet and carry out their independent studies. While studying with us, we would want you to be as healthy as possible, both mentally and physically. And what is good about London Med is we offer gym facilities for free, so you don't pay extra for for the gym facility. So every student is able to use our gym facilities. And if students are particularly interested in basketball or, for example, dancing, and then they will be able to use our relevant facilities as well for free. So as I mentioned earlier, so although we are city-based campus, spaces are limited, but we do have a lot of spaces across campus for students to relax. And also, don't get us wrong, England is famous for its bad weather, but actually our weather is not as bad as you imagine. So we do have a lovely time when the sun is out, and students can go out and get some fresh air if they like. And throughout the term time, we will have a lot of student activities, and students can participate in, and to get them involved with university life, really. And also about our classrooms, and majority of our classrooms are modernized now. So, and all the majority of the classrooms are provided with portable chairs and tables, and which would provide students with the best learning outcome. And also here are some key statistics for you to take away and share with your students. So we are currently having around 12,000 UK-based students, so that including international students. And also we have students from 143 countries at the moment. And also we're very proud we're the number 6 in the country for the teaching quality. So if your students do come to study with us, and they don't need to worry about the teaching quality, so they will receive one of the best in the country. And also we spend a lot of money on student service and facilities that to enable students to have the best student experience while studying with London Med. And also we are very passionate about social justice and inclusion. So if students are particularly interested in that, and we will have a lot of initiatives that students can be part of as well. And also, according to the National Student Survey, our student satisfaction is really high. So we are much higher than a lot of Russell Group universities that you may have heard of. And also, here are some things that I'm really keen for you to share with your student. First of all is, for any undergraduate student who come to study with us for any program we offer, and they are guaranteed a work-based learning opportunity, and this is part of their studies. So it is important that if student wants to have some hands-on experience from the degree area they want to do, and we can offer that, and we can also guarantee that for students to get that. So it is important, and for us, it's important for students to understand how their degree would be linked with the industry they are going into, so they're fully prepared for the jobs afterwards. And also, as I mentioned, we're passionate about the equality and inclusion. So university has committed, 15 million pounds and to make the contribution to the society we're in. And also the university has a long tradition to support students who is passionate about entrepreneurship. So if your students are interested in running their business in the UK, and we have an organization called Accelerator at London Med to provide students with that support. So that would include training, individual business counseling, and also we run a business idea challenge. I will talk to you a little bit more, and student can win setup fund as well. So that's as what we do, to support our students. And also in addition to the traditional employment support student would get from the university, and we also offer additional support for international students. And we would understand when students come to the UK, they may want to have more than just receiving the degree, and particularly get some overseas work experience. And we do help students to look for jobs in the UK. And particularly, we work with an organization called the Student Circus, and that would help students to make their job hunting more targeted, because all the job opportunities they advertise would come with work permit. So that would also enable students to find a job, or to switch into the the skilled worker route after they have completed their degree, if they're successful with their application. In general, we have 5 academic schools. So on the first page, as you can see on my screen, so we have 3 schools. So the first one is Guildhall School of Business and Law. So what I would like to say is we offer traditional business courses, and also we offer law and language related programs in this particular school. So, one of the most popular one is BA Translation. And moving on to the second one, Computing and Digital Media. So we offer traditional computing related programs, but what we would like to highlight, we also do some creative side of the course, which would include, game programming, for example, journalism, music technology. So we have some niche programs under this department. And the third one we have here is human sciences. And so if your students are particularly interested in dietetics or nutrition, and please do apply as early as possible, because this is one of the programs which would normally not be available in clearing. And also students who are coming to study with that at the human sciences department, and they will be able to use our super lab, which has 250 working stations together, which is one of the largest teaching lab in Europe. And then we're moving on to the 4 schools, which is School of Science and Profession. So under this school, student can study early childhood educations, international relations, politics, psychology, and our psychology program, by the way, is accredited by British Psychological Society, so which would enable students to do a master degree if they're interested. And also we talked a little bit about our Aldgate campus already, so which is solely for our art, architecture, and design. So it is important to remember we have a range of arts related programs as well. So under this department, we also have English and creative writing. And also we have a range of fashion related degrees, and also we have some fashion management and marketing, which is shared between this school and the business school. Moving on to student services. So as I mentioned, we spend a lot of money on student services to provide students with the best learning experience while they're studying with us. So for employment, so any student who do not have an idea what they want to do after they've finished their degree, or they want to get specific advice on that, our employment support team will be able to provide you with that. They can look at your personalities, and they can help you to identify the jobs that potentially would work best for you. And also if a student need advice on CVs, job hunting, interviews, and etc. So we can help that as well. And also we offer one-stop service for all students. So if students have any questions, and they can go to their own school office. So each of the academic school has its own school office. So for any reason, any personal or academic issues, they can visit school office. If they can't help them, then they would be able to direct students to the right department. We also have an excellent counseling support team available at the university. We understand moving into a foreign country and just starting to learn, study a degree in a foreign language can be a huge challenge. Students may have a lot of issues to begin with. So we have an excellent counseling support and to provide students with that mental support as well. So if students have any questions or any issues they want to ask, and please do encourage your student to book a counseling appointment, and where they will be able to talk about their issues individually with our specialists. But however, we do want students to be brave and to come forward and to speak to us about their issues. So this is something where we do a lot of campaigns to raise awareness of this particular department. And also for student unions, so all UK university will have our own student union. So London Met has its own as well. So what I would like to say is, please encourage your student to participate in our student union, because this is the only way to get their student voice heard. And as I mentioned earlier, so because we are passionate about entrepreneurship, so we do a challenge called the Big Idea Challenge every year. So that would enable students to win a setup fund of £30,000. So moving on to the entry requirements. So obviously this is a very basic entry requirements for A-level students. But what I want you to say is different programs have different entry requirements. So you are advised to check our website and individual course pages carefully to understand what the subject requirements and the A-level requirements. So in a simple way, so majority of our entry requirements are translated into UCAS points. So UCAS tariff points is the only way that we're actually making offers. So the minimum requirements we ask is 96 UCAS tariff points. That would be equivalent to around 3 Cs, and certain programs would probably be much higher. So please do check our course page accordingly. And also we will have GCSE maths and English requirements, which would need a grade C or grade 4, depending on when they take their GCSEs. And also just for information, we have 4-year undergraduate degree program that includes a foundation year as well. So if a student hasn't done very well, in their A levels, and they can come to study with us for the 4-year undergraduate degree, and which we normally ask for a minimum 32 UCAS tariff points. And also we need students to have GCSE English at grade 4. And also for students who haven't quite met the GCSE English requirements, we do accept any other alternative English qualifications, as you can see on my screen. So you probably are very familiar with with PTE, IELTS, TOEFL, or language cert, and etc. So student can choose to do that. Again, so English requirements varies from program to program. So the best way to confirm the English requirements is once students have applied and the offer is made, and everything will be clearly outlined on their offer letter. And then just a quick note on tuition fees and scholarships. So we do offer £2,000 scholarships for all students, for all international students. So if they are successful with the application. So for our tuition fees for the next academic year, which would be around £14,000. So we do have a lot of international student related information available on our website. So we do encourage you to have a look. So also you will be able to find out if we're coming to your country as well. So there will be relevant information about deadlines, entry requirements, for each country, and English requirements as you may be interested in taking a look. And also there are some immigration related information as well. So about living and working in the UK, if you would like to get a little bit more information in advance, and please feel free to do that. And also for visa application, and then we will have a specialist team in-house, and which would provide students with that visa support. So students don't need to worry if they don't have an agent to help them, for example. So that concludes my presentation, and thank you very much for listening. And if you do have any questions, then please contact us via international@londonmet.ac.uk. And if we have a bit of time, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Kayan, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, great. So it's a very brief and complete presentation. It's very thorough. So I'm sure that your presentation will inspire the participants here today to ask more questions. Anybody wants to talk to Kayan directly, or maybe you want to put the questions in the chat box? That's also possible. So let's give it some time, Kayan, yeah?
No worries, thank you.
So the website is londonmet.ac.uk. Okay. Everyone? Maybe it does take some time for people to think of questions. Okay, so
No
maybe
worries.
right. So either way, Kayan, this has been a very nice presentation. And Bapak Ibu, everyone, if you have questions later on, feel free to contact me or Prasasti. I believe you know my email address and also Prasasti's email address. If you don't, we will leave it in the chat box for your reference. Okay. I guess no question. Ken? Do you have a question?
Yeah, so sorry, so I just looked through the chat box and also the Q&A function. There are several that come through as well. So I think there's one school that's asking if they would like to arrange for a school visit or a school tour. Is that possible, and how can they go about making those arrangements?
Yeah, so obviously we currently don't travel to Indonesia, but if you guys are in London and if you want to visit our university, and feel free to email international@londonmet.ac.uk, and we will be able to arrange something just for you. And we quite often offer bespoke visits for for a group of students. So please do get in touch with us.
Thanks so much, Kian. I think there's another question that I have here in the Q&A function. So is there a specific requirement that you can explain for Indonesia students, particularly to come to London Met? Is there any additional requirement, or is the same requirement for all international students?
So it depends on what qualifications they have completed and what kind of course they want to do. So there will be some specific requirements as we talk about. But in general, I think for international students, if they need a visa sponsorship, and so they do need to meet immigration requirements as well. So as a part of the application process, we would ask students to complete an immigration questionnaire, so which would enable us to have a full access. And what I would say to all the counselors here is, please make sure your student carry out relevant research about the university and course, and this is very, very vital. It is important that they understand what they have been applying for, so that's then, and also this is how we assess how much understanding they have about the university and the course. So it is something we highly recommend students to do. And also, obviously, when moving to the visa stage, and there will be specific financial requirements student will have to meet as well. But this is something will be discussed with student directly. Normally, they need to demonstrate in founding the bank account before making visa applications. So, and also that's how we we need to ensure that as students satisfy their financial requirements set out by the UK Home Office before a CAS can be issued to the student. So academically, if they're doing A levels, there's no difference to home student what requirement they need to meet.
Thanks, Kian. A couple more questions, if that's all right. So I think thanks. So I think you touched about this earlier in your presentation about the 3 years and the 4 years program. So I think there are counselors here that's asking, so what's the difference between the 3 years and the 4 years program at London Met?
Yeah, sure. So just want to clarify that we are in the university in England. So the education system between England and Scotland are slightly different. So our majority of our undergraduate degrees in England are 3 years. So that means the student, that's a direct entry onto the undergraduate degree. However, we offer something called extended degree, which is 4 years. And that would, basically that includes the year 0 in, to begin with. If a student haven't done very well in their A levels, so we give them a second chance to do a degree with a foundation year. So that's basically the difference. So it gives students an extra year to improve their level 3 qualifications. And then once they have completed the first year, they will be be able to progress onto the standard undergraduate degree. So that's the difference. But what I would like to say is, for our 4-year degree, student will get the visa for the 4-year duration. So the student don't need to renew visa halfway through. And so that's basically the difference. Where, obviously for students who have met the academic requirements and English requirements for the 3-year undergraduate degree, and they are encouraged to study the 3-year degree directly rather than doing the 4 years. 4 years really for students whose academic profile is relatively weaker, I would say. So students have a bit more time to build on their academic profile, and then being able to continue their academic studies afterwards.
Thanks, Kian. A couple more questions. So a question that comes in is, if the students are taking the June exam series and the certificate for the students arrive around September, so the teacher, is it possible to, with that timeline, to apply directly to London Met University? So I assume that
That's a very good question. So unfortunately, this would not work for our September intake. Having said that, actually, just to let you know, we do have January intake. So that's just about three months later, student can come to study at London Met, and we have a lot of degree programs, and particularly undergraduate degree programs offered in January as well. And the reason being is we do have, so if a student need a visa, and then we do have to ensure student arrive on time and to be able to study on time. That also will make sure student can be successful when they start the program. So we do not want students to miss a lot of their content while studying. And also, as we can see at the moment, because of the Ukraine war, and the Home Office has a lot of backlogs, and the visa application takes relatively longer to get processed. So what we would encourage the student to do is to look at a more realistic intake to start, rather than rushing through. And also we do set out our deadlines in advance, and for students to understand when they must submit their final documents, in order to be able to start in September. So in this case, I would advise students to start in January instead. That will give students more time to arrange their accommodation, for example, as well, and visa applications, of course.
Thanks, Kian. And finally, I think this question is applicable to all who are listening as well. So the council is asking, does London Met have any consultation agent or any officers that's based in this case, Surabaya, but if there are any officers that's based in Indonesia as well?
Yeah, so we do work with a lot of global agents. So I believe we probably have agent, maybe intake education, or IDP probably have offices based in Indonesia. Student can go and speak with. Alternatively, they can email international@londonmed.ac.uk, and my team can provide relevant support for students who do not have an agent. So we can walk students through the application process and to support students, with their application as well. So it's really entirely up to students. So they can go and look for agents if they like, but if they want to apply independently, and they will also get the support from the university directly.
Right, thanks, Kian. I think that's all the questions that we have for this session for London Met. But Ali, is there any other questions that come through that you can see?
Yes, actually, we have 2 questions. Number one is still related about the intake in September and also in January. So they will have a gap year, Ken?
So our January undergraduate degrees actually won't have a gap year. So basically that means even if they start from January rather than September, the first year will be condensed. So which means they will do their first year in a much shorter time. So they will have less holidays, for example, to make up the 3 months they missed at the beginning. And then the second year and third year will be the normal second year and third year. They will start in September and the following September. So which means they will finish their degree in the same time as students who study their degree in September. So they shouldn't need to worry about the gap year afterwards. So they are not finishing their degree in January. So they are still finishing the same time as students who study their degree in September.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Kian, for the presentation as well as for the questions. Thank you very much. And hopefully we can continue with this cooperation later in the next events. Thank you so much, Kian.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a good day, guys.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. All right, so that was the first presentation by London Met University. And then the next one, we have two presenters ready. So number one is Michelle Liu, and then the next one will be Shoban Roth. So they are the undergraduate student recruitment at the University of Bath, England. Michelle, Shoban, are you here?
Hi, good morning, Ken. Can you hear me? Or good afternoon?
Yes, we can
Good
hear you.
afternoon. Yes, okay. So Michelle,
Great, lovely to be here.
yeah, so the screen is yours.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. It will actually just be me today, as Siobhan is unavailable, but I have the presentation ready and Siobhan has given me some information. So I'll just briefly introduce myself and then go ahead with our presentation today. So my name is Michelle Liu. I'm the undergraduate student recruitment officer for East Asia for the University of Bath. And today I'm going to introduce to you guys the University of Bath, some of the popular programs that we have in entry requirements, as well as what kind of support we can provide for international students and the student life here at Bath. And I'll also leave some time at the end for questions as well. So I'm now going to share my screen. Okay, so these are the topics that we will cover today. I'm first going to start off with just a brief overview of some of the accolades that we at Bath have gained over the years. So we are consistently ranked a top 10 UK university by the three major guides, The Guardian, Complete University Guide, and Times and Sunday Times. We have also recently been voted by the Times and Sunday Times as the 2023 University of the Year of the UK, so we're all very proud of that accolade. We are also ranked 6th for graduate prospects under the Complete University Guide 2023, so that means we're ranked very highly for employability, and that's getting work after you graduate from university. And lastly, we are also ranked 4th for student experience, so that's the student life at the university while the students are with us. And so we are ranked very highly in all three areas of academics, employability, as well as student life. These are some of the subjects that we provide. It's not an exhaustive list, but it does show you the subjects and the courses that we do best in. It's important to note that we're not a comprehensive university, so we don't offer all of the courses or all of the course areas that are available in the UK. We do have about 50% of our students doing STEM related subjects, so sciences, maths, engineering, and so forth. And then we have the remaining 50% do social sciences as well as courses in our School of Management. So these are our top performing courses. So architecture is notably one of our most competitive courses, as well as subjects in our School of Management, including marketing, accounting and finance, business and management. Then in terms of social sciences, we also do very well in things like psychology and economics. And then for finally for STEM subjects, our Department of Engineering is very strong. So mechanical engineering, manufacturing engineering, civil engineering, and so forth are some of our most competitive subjects. Now, in terms of the entry requirements then, as I mentioned, about 50% of our students make up STEM subjects, and then about 14% in the School of Management and 34% in Humanities and Social Sciences. This is just to give you a range of the entry requirements that we have for each course, but they will differ according to each course. So I do strongly encourage you to check out our website for further information under the course listings. Our entry requirements are detailed very clearly on that website. But the range, just to give you an idea of the types of students that may want to apply for the University of Bath, it goes from around ABB for your 3 A levels up to A-star AA, which is kind of the maximum that we would ask for, depending on the subject. Now, the subjects where we would ask for A-star AA would be things like mechanical or civil engineering, as well as architecture, and then things like physics, maths, computer science, and then also psychology and economics, just to give you a rough list of subjects, but again, not exhaustive. The School of Management asks for around AAB to AAA, and then as well as that, there are also sometimes other factors to consider as well, like certain subjects have compulsory requirements. For example, if you are doing a maths related subject, then they may very well ask for maths at A level, and certain subjects may also encourage, although it's not required, you to have further maths, for example, or physics. Then we also do have English language requirement as well for visa purposes. Normally, if you are if you do A-level English, or if you've done GCSE English, then you may be exempt at the University of Bath from doing IELTS or a similar English language test. But if not, then you would need to do IELTS or another language test that we recognize, such as PTE or TOEFL. And we would normally for IELTS require a 7 overall with 6.5 in each for our essay writing based subjects, and then 6.5 overall with 6 in each for our STEM leaning or numerical leaning subjects. Now, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes just to talk about our work placement program, because I think this is kind of one of the highlights of the university, and something that makes the university very special here at Bath is that we do have a work placement program. So that's sometimes known as a sandwich year in other universities, where normally a degree is 3 years or 4 years long, depending on if you're doing a bachelor's or an integrated master's. But if you then take on a work placement as well, you would add an additional year onto that 3 or 4 year degree, making it 4 years or 5 years respectively. So in that 1 year, you are essentially doing a year-long internship or a year-long professional work placement, and most of our placements are paid, and you are essentially doing an graduate entry level job, and the jobs will be related to your subject. Most of our students do actually do the work placement or study year abroad, or a combination of both, and it's really special at Bath because it is offered in every single one of our degree courses. Even if you're doing something like maths or engineering, you'll be able to do either a work placement or study year abroad. So such that nearly 70% of our students do undertake this work placement year. And then we also have a very robust system in place to support our students. So of course, you may have heard of the career service, which many, if not all, universities will provide for its students. And the career service mainly focuses on graduate employment, so helping final year students to secure a job after they graduate. But we also have, in addition to our career service, a placement team that's stationed in each faculty, and there is a specialist for each subject department. And the placement officer will help you to find a placement. So the way it normally works is, for example, in certain subjects like psychology, you'll have a database of all of the previous work placement schemes that our alumni have been on, our previous students, and the students will get to choose the different ones that they want to apply to, and then we'll give them all the support that they need in order to mount an application. For example, in our School of Management, there's also a PDP, personal development program, that all students need to take part in from first year to second year, and that's all in support of preparing them to apply for the work placement. And they do need to go on this scheme even if they're not going on a work placement, because it is an optional thing for a lot of our students. There are certain degree courses such as international management or management with marketing, or the business degree in our School of Management, where you will need to take a work placement, and that is a compulsory aspect of the degree. But these the support mechanisms are in place for students even if they choose not to do the work placement, because a lot of students will then choose to do summer internships or spring vacation internships, and they may also change their mind and decide to do a work placement later on, and there is some flexibility there for students to switch to. And finally, we do have over 3,000 employer connections worldwide, built up over the years. And so you can go abroad as well as stay in the UK, and that doesn't affect your student visa either. Now, moving on to scholarships, I've listed here the scholarships that we have available for our undergraduate students as well as our international foundation year students. We do have an international foundation year, so that is a program that students can take if they don't quite have the right qualifications or their qualifications don't quite meet our requirements. Then there is an option to do the Bath International Foundation year, and there is guaranteed progression to Bath direct entry for undergraduate if you meet the progression grades that we require for that program. So I'll firstly go through the two undergraduate scholarships that we have available for international students. The first is the Chancellor's Scholarship, and that is a £1,000 to £2,000 tuition fee waiver for students that achieve an A-star AA or above in their A-levels. Now, this is an automatic scholarship, so you don't need to have a separate application, and it is automatically considered for students that have Bath as their first choice. There's also an IB scholarship in case there are any students in here that are doing the IB or considering doing the IB, or if your school also offers the IB, then the IB scholarship ranges from £1,500 to £6,000 first year tuition fee waiver, and the two of these scholarships can be combined together to give a maximum award of £8,000 off, but obviously you do need to score very highly. The Chancellor's Scholarship is open to any qualifications, not just A-levels, and there's no quota, so as long as the student meets these grades, then they will be eligible for that scholarship. For the IFY, we also have a £2,000 first year Bath University first year tuition fee waiver for international foundation year students that choose to go to Bath University for their undergraduate studies, and that's for the top essentially the top half performing students, so top 20 from last year, but that may increase depending on how many students we have. It is a very small international foundation year program, but we are growing it in the next few years. So this is briefly the scholarship offerings that we have for our undergraduate international students and international foundation year students. Then moving on to a bit more about the student life. So firstly, wanted to show you where Bath is actually located. So we are located in the southwest of England. We're about an hour and a half away from central London by train and about 10 minutes away from Bristol by train. Bristol is our nearest large city with around 500,000 people. London has around 7-8 million people, and Bath itself as a city has about 100,000 people. So it is a relatively small city. And this is what it looks like. We are the only UNESCO World Heritage City in the UK, meaning that the entire city is protected and recognised by UNESCO World Heritage. And the reason being that, so we derive our name from the Roman baths, which is right at the centre of the city. It's dated around 2,000 years ago. So we do have a Roman bath here. So essentially it's a thermal spring, a natural thermal spring that was made into a public bath during Roman times, and it still stands today. Then we also have the rest of the city is preserved in in Georgian architecture, dated from the sort of mid to late 1700s and early 1800s. So it's a really beautiful city. It's very popular with tourists actually in the UK. And I always say, even if you don't come to Bath for university, if you do end up in the UK, then Bath is really worthwhile to come and visit for a weekend or even just for a day trip. We've also been voted the safest university city in the UK as well by Complete University Guide, and we are a campus university. So one of the reasons why we are safe to be in is because we are on a campus. The campus is around 10 minutes away by bus from the city centre, which is up here, and you can walk from one end of campus to the other in about 10 minutes. So it's a very compact campus. It's very easy to navigate, as well as all of the accommodation buildings you see are dotted around the edge of campus, and right in the centre along what's called the parade is all of your teaching buildings, as well as things like medical centre, the students' union, and the library, which is open 24/7. We also have the edge, which is our arts and performing arts centre, and then I would say a real kind of crown jewel of our campus is the sports training village. It's essentially Olympic-sized facilities. We offer over 50 different sports. We have an indoor swimming pool, which is Olympic-sized. We do have Olympians and world-class athletes training with us. During the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, we actually had about 11 gold medalists who were training at Bath. We also have things like an indoor tennis academy, over 18 indoor and outdoor tennis courts, and all of these facilities are free to use for undergraduate students, aside from the gym, in which you do have to pay a small subsidy. The majority of our undergraduate students will live on campus in first year, and then they will move out to private accommodation from second year onwards. Now, finally, before we move on to questions, just a couple minutes on the student life. So we have around 70% of our students being from undergraduate, then the rest being postgraduate and PhD students. So that is fairly typical, I think, of a medium-sized university, not in a large metropolitan area. We have about 19,000 students altogether, so that's also considered medium-sized. As I said, the population of Bath is around 100,000. There's another university in Bath called Bath Spa University, and the two university populations altogether make up around 25%, so a quarter of the population of Bath. So Bath is quite a student-centered city, despite being a very old city, and so it's fairly vibrant despite the architecture. So the student life, I think it is fairly similar to a lot of other universities in the UK in the way that we're set up. So we have a students' union, which kind of constitutes the heart of student life. There's over 150 different clubs and societies that are offered, and they're all governed by the students' union. And it ranges from cultural all the way to sports and music and niche interests as well. And so anything that you can think of, really, any kind of interest that students may have, you're more likely than not to find it already established as part of the students' union. So there's a very vibrant student life. You will also have something called Freshers Week or Welcome Week or Orientation Week in the beginning of university. And this is before most of the students return, so only first year students are invited, and this is a week where you can get to know all the clubs and societies and facilities at the university, get to know your department, and then also just meet fellow first year students and really start the integration process and the transition process from moving abroad to the UK. We have around 30% of our students being international, so from overseas. And so we also offer bespoke support for our international students too. So I mentioned that we have Freshers Week for all of our first year students. We also have International Welcome Week, specifically designed for our international students. And it's just to help you navigate things like even how to open a bank account or where to go for groceries, and little things that you may not think would actually pose quite a large challenge in your day-to-day life in the early weeks that you've arrived in the UK. Will help you to navigate through those challenges. We also have free airport transfer available from Heathrow to Bath. And then there's also ongoing academic and wellbeing support specifically for international students, such as counselling service that's offered in many different languages. So you don't need to speak English if you are feeling particularly vulnerable, for example. And I think that covers everything, and I've left some time as well for questions at the end. I did want to mention, if you wanted to get to know a bit more about what's available at Bath in terms of upcoming events that we are holding, then you can scan this QR code. Siobhan's details are also available there, so if there are any schools that would like any kind of virtual sessions from us, for example, personal statement workshops, or workshops on how to do the UCAS application specifically for selective top UK universities, then you can reach out to Siobhan. Her details are here, and she'll be able to organize a session with you guys. So thank you so much for listening, and I can invite questions now.
Michelle, it's been a very comprehensive session, and we have 2 questions in relation to the entry requirement. So number 1, for IB students, can IB students use the letter from the school certifying that they have received instruction in English for the duration of that they attended the school as a language proficiency replacement instead of IELTS? And number 2, could you please elaborate more on the A-level scoring? The AAB, AAA, do they refer to specific subjects?
Yes, so the first question, unfortunately, we do ask for specific qualifications for English. So you can't be exempted just by saying that you've had English language instruction for X many years from the teachers. You do need to have some kind of official qualification. So there is a list of, so if you do IB, for example, you can be exempted at the University of Bath for having IB, SL or HL English. So there is a whole list of qualifications that you can do at school that will exempt you. For example, doing GCSE English as well, IGCSE English. But you need to have a certain grade in that qualification. And also, I do not speak for other UK universities as well. There may be some universities that do require you to have IELTS or a similar additional language test. This is just the policy that we have at Bath specifically. So it does also depend on the specific course that you are applying for. And so at Bath, we have all of our courses are split into 3 categories, A, B, and C, for our undergraduate English language requirements. And they range from, as I mentioned, 7 overall with 6.5 equivalent, or the equivalent in an English language qualification, all the way to a 6.5 overall with 6 in each. So it does depend on which subject you're doing as well. The second question was about the entry requirements. So yes, as I mentioned, the slide that I had on the entry requirements is just to give you an idea of the level that the students need to be aspiring to in order to mount a competitive application for the University of Bath. So each subject or each specific undergraduate course actually has its own, it's not a range, it has its own specific cutoff for a minimum entry requirement. So it will either be AAB or AAA. So for example, in the School of Management, the management degree, undergraduate management BSc course, has an A-level entry requirement of AAA. And there's no specific subject that you need at A-level that you need to have in order to apply. However, if you're applying for something like mechanical engineering, so if you're applying for mechanical engineering undergraduate degree course, then at A-level you need to have A star, AA. So that is the entry requirement. And you also need to have, among your 3 A levels, maths and physics. So those two subjects are required. So that's to give you an example of the profile that we are looking for, and each individual course will have a specific, not a range, but a specific 3 grades that you need for your A levels. And then in addition, it will tell you any specific subjects that you need at A level in order to apply.
Right, thank you, Michelle. One more question. So, what qualifications may contribute to the Chancellor Scholarship Award for freshers?
What qualification for the Chancellor Scholarship? The Chancellor Scholarship, you just need to have fulfilled specific final grades. So the grades that we stipulate in your conditional offer. So if you do A-levels, then to have, for example, you need to have the grades that we stipulate for the scholarship. So if I go back to that specific slide, oh, it might be easier if I. So as I mentioned, the Chancellor's Scholarship is open to any qualifications, but you need to have reached the equivalent of A** AA at A level to A** A at A level in order to have that, in order to receive that scholarship. And you only need those grades. So we're not looking at any other aspect of your application. It's purely based on your academic performance in your final grades that you get at the end of high school.
Thanks, Michelle. I think related to the question, I have another one that comes in directly. So it's asking, does a student stand a better chance if the student has a UK GCE A-levels compared to an international A-levels? And also about that, does it matter which exam board the qualifications came from?
No, it doesn't matter. We treat the A-levels the same, whether it's international or at home. It's regarded as an equal qualification, and so we value and we also assess those qualifications equally. And it also doesn't matter which board as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Michelle. Another question from the counselor is, do you have a recruitment agent or office based here in Indonesia that we can get in touch with directly?
Yeah, we do. We have 3, I believe. So this, hold on, let me share my screen. So this is the webpage, the Bath University webpage, which lists all of the agents that we work with. And for Indonesia, we work with 3, so IDP, Jack Study Abroad, and IBEC. So you can get in touch with them directly if you need any assistance from them. But yeah, we do officially work with these 3 agents in Indonesia.
All right, thanks so much, Michelle. And I think that's all the questions or the time that we have for these sessions with Bath. So once again, we really appreciate your time, Michelle, and to all the teachers, school leaders, and counselors who are on joining us today. So if you have any questions whatsoever, do reach out again to either Pak Ali, Ibu Pras, or myself, then we can get in touch with Michelle once again for any other further discussion. Thank you once again, Michelle. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ken and Ali. Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you, Michelle. Good to see you too.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye. All right, so that was our second presenter, and now we're moving on to the third one. Ken, Alice Gerald is here. Hi, Alice.
Hi. Hello, hi.
It's good to see you, Alice. So Alice is Senior International Officer from Edinburgh Napier University, Scotland. Alice, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hello everyone. So yes, like I said, my name is Alice. I'm the Senior International Officer. My normal regions, the regions that I generally cover, are actually Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia. But I'm stepping in today for my colleague Supra, who's not able to attend. He's actually based over in Kuala Lumpur, so he's in region, and I'll give you his contact information at the end. So if anyone does want to reach out to him for further conversations and things, then you absolutely can do. But I will do my best to answer any specific Indonesia questions today. But if I can't, I'll pass you over to him. So I'll just share my screen, and we'll get going. Oh, my goodness, hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so today I'm just going to tell you obviously a bit about Edinburgh Napier, but I want to start with telling you a bit about Scotland and a bit about Edinburgh in general, because Scotland's not as well known as England within the UK. So just to give you a bit of background on that. So Scotland is one of the 4 countries within the United Kingdom. So there's England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and us in Scotland. We have been voted one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We got another accolade for that this year. You can see just from some of these photos here, you know, Scotland is a really, really beautiful country. It's got some incredible landscapes and things. And we are very well known for all those really stereotypical things you think of when you think of Scotland: bagpipes, haggis, kilts, all that sort of stuff. If you ever do come to Scotland, and specifically to Edinburgh, you will see it. There's normally someone on Princes Street, which is the main kind of shopping street in the centre of town, playing the bagpipes with his kilt on, the full outfit and everything. So yeah, it's a stereotype for a reason. So there's not a lot of us in Scotland. There's about 5.5 million people. But we seem to get around, and we're very well known throughout the world. I don't think I've ever been on holiday anywhere in the world and not bumped into someone from Scotland. I'm not quite sure how that's possible, but it always seems to happen. And we've got quite a few claims to fame as well. Things like Harry Potter were written in Edinburgh, as well as the telephone. I think the television was also invented by someone who was Scottish. And like Rockstar Games, the people that make Grand Theft Auto and things like that, they've got their big headquarters and stuff in Edinburgh. So we've got quite a lot of claims to fame through that sort of thing. So while we are part of the United Kingdom, we do have our own government. And what that means is some things in Scotland are different. We have devolved powers. So education is a big one, and so is healthcare, which means our education system is a little bit different, and certain laws are a little bit different as well. So we do say if anyone is looking to come to Scotland, make sure you're looking at relevant Scottish information rather than the rest of the UK, because sometimes it's not quite the same. Moving on to Edinburgh specifically, I'll be honest, I'm very biased. I'm from Edinburgh. I absolutely love it, but it is a really, really stunning city. One of my favorite things about Edinburgh is the amount of green space we have right in the centre. So that top photograph there is right in the centre of Edinburgh. The Scottish Parliament is actually just behind the hill in the photograph, as Arthur's Seat, which is one of 2 extinct volcanoes in the city. The other one is where Edinburgh Castle sits on top of. That's another extinct volcano. So just the kind of geography and the architecture and things in the city, you know, it is absolutely stunning. We are one of the second best city in the world for quality of life. We're also the second best city in the UK for students. One of the great things about Edinburgh is that it is a really student-focused city. There's 4 universities in and around the city. And what that means is so much emphasis is put on making sure there is housing, jobs, support, nightlife, you know, all that sort of thing is available for students very, very readily, which is great if you do decide to come here. We're also home to the largest arts festival in the world. So I don't know if anyone here will have heard of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival or the Edinburgh International Festival. That happens every August, and it basically takes over the entire city. And it's a huge arts and cultural festival, comedy festival, food festival, music, all that sort of thing. It's great fun. I love it. I always love going out and going to shows and things at it. So yeah, it's really great. So why Scotland? So the biggest difference in the education structure at undergraduate level for Scotland versus the rest of the UK is our standard degree is 4 years rather than 3. It's just, you know, that's how it's always been. It's how the education system works here, but it is a big difference between us and the rest of the United Kingdom. But what that 4-year degree structure does give you is a lot of breadth in the early years. You have a bit more time to go into the kind of foundations of the subject you're interested in, and then you get a more deeper understanding as you go through. It also gives a lot more flexibility. So we generally have a lot more work placements and study abroad opportunities embedded into our degrees than a lot of English universities, just because we have a bit more time to embed that kind of stuff in. So there generally is a bit more options around that as well. So we have a lot of world-class universities in Scotland, more per head of population than anywhere else in the world. So we do have a really incredible reputation internationally, and a lot of history with, you know, universities and higher education within Scotland as well. And like I mentioned, study abroad, industry, years in industry options as well are embedded into a lot of our degrees, which are really, really great. So a little bit of history about the university. So we're named after John Napier, who's the inventor of logarithms. We were founded in 1964 as a technical college. So we originally did a lot of kind of practical courses that at that time weren't considered degree level kind of subjects. Now they are. For example, in the 80s and things, we did a lot of biomedical, biological sciences, which back then weren't degrees, but now are. So that's kind of where we started. In 1992, we became a fully fledged university, and in 2009, we changed our name just to kind of take advantage of the incredible city that we're in, because we're very proud to be where we are. So just a few of our accolades here. So we're the #1 university in Edinburgh for student satisfaction, which is a statistic we've had for the past, I think, 4 or 5 years in a row now, and something we're really, really proud of, because it does show, obviously, that students are having a great experience when they come to study with us. We are the top UK university for journalism, publishing and public relations. So it's an area that we do perform incredibly highly. And you can see on the other side there just some of the other areas where we have very, very high ranked courses as well. So 2 of the really big pillars that we promote within the university and to all of our students are employability and entrepreneurship. So as I mentioned before, with the 4-year structure, we do tend to have a bit more time to embed work experience and things like that. 95 or almost 96% of our undergraduate students will have work experience as part of their degree. We're working on getting up to 100. It's trickier with some programs than others, but we really want it our goal is to get that up to 100%. Just because we know nowadays that when you finish your degree, employers are expecting you to have the qualifications plus work experience. So if we can give you that during your degree and during your time with us, that's absolutely what we want to do. We also have an amazing Student Futures team. So they run sessions like interview skills, CV writing. They'll actually take a look at your CV if you want to take it to them and give you some pointers on how to improve it, or let you know how it looks and how it reads and things like that. And they also run specific industry related sessions within different departments. So if you are in business, for example, they may come and do a session within one of your modules about just kind of, the work environment within kind of big businesses and things as well, just to give you a bit more confidence and the skills to succeed when you go into employment. We know these things are working because we have on almost 97% graduate employability rate. And what we mean by that is that students are in employment within 6 months of leaving us. So almost all of our students are in employment within 6 months. The other side of that is entrepreneurship. So we have one of the largest business schools within Scotland, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we really do have a focus on business and things within the university. A lot of people now are really interested in exploring these kind of entrepreneurial options, seeing if it's something that they could do. So we want to be able to support that and support any dreams that our students might have. So we have the Bright Red Triangle, which is an organisation that runs within our business school, and they offer consultations, mentoring and different things for students that are interested. You can take a business proposal to them, they will review it, give you advice, they can set you up with a specific mentor within the industry you're looking to go into, and help you look for that. And I know a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm only an undergraduate, I don't know, but sometimes these things come to you partway through a degree. Sometimes you always know this is what you want to do. There's no reason, it's never too early to start with this sort of thing. So if you are interested and you want some more advice, when you're a student with us, you can go and have a chat with them there. So just a few numbers about the university. So we have over 20,000 students from more than 150 countries. Around 14,500 study on campus and the rest study online. So we actually, I think it's probably actually slightly higher than that. And I think we have over 15,000 on campus at this stage, because we've recruited a lot, especially a lot of international students over the past couple of years. But we're a really, really diverse campus. I think around 1/3 of our students are international as well. Most of that comes at postgraduate level, but we do have a good number of undergraduate international students as well. The university is split over 3 campuses, so we're not one campus university like some others are, for example, Bath that presented before us. We're not all in one place. We are kind of spread out through the west side of Edinburgh. Edinburgh's not that big though, so we're not too far away from each other. And we have 6 academic schools, so all of our courses are split into 6 schools, and I'll go through those in a bit more detail in a second. So this is a map of the west side of Edinburgh. Like I say, it looks like they're quite far apart, but Edinburgh really isn't very big. So on the left-hand side there, you can see our Sighthill campus, which is actually where I am at the moment. That's where our office is based. So it's home to the School of Applied Sciences and Health and Social Care. In the centre at the bottom, that is our Craig Lockhart campus. So that's got some really cool history around it as well. It's very kind of old and new. So one half of the campus is a really, really old building. It was a hospital during the war, during the First World War, and then it was taken over by the university in the 80s. And then we've built a massive section onto the side of it, which is very modern. So it's really that kind of contrast, and that big kind of silver thing on the front of the building is, you'll see the inside of it in the next slide. It's one of our lecture theatres, and it's got some incredible views of Edinburgh. The third campus there, the Merchiston campus, that is our original campus. So the old brown building in the middle, that is Napier Tower. So that's where John Napier was born and lived. And that's home to our School of Computing, Engineering, and Arts and Creative Industries are all based on that campus. So these are a list of our academic schools, and I will run through each of them individually in a second, but you can see the inside of our lecture theatre here, which I love that lecture theatre. You can see the castle from there, and you can see right across Edinburgh. It's got some really, really cool views, although the lecturers do tend to have to close the blinds during lectures, just because students then just end up staring off into the distance rather than actually focusing on the lecture. But it is a really, really cool space. So like I said, just running through our schools. So yeah, a business school, first of all. So this covers everything like business management, marketing, things like hospitality and tourism also come within this school. Law also does, although if anyone is interested in law, I'm always very wary and just say, you know, in Scotland it is a bit different. We teach Scottish law, and sometimes that makes it harder for you to go back to your own country and practice law. So if that is of interest to you, I do say be very careful and just look into all of that stuff as well. So yeah, you can see some of the areas that we do perform really well in. We perform really well in kind of hospitality and tourism, just because Edinburgh is such a touristy place. We have connections with amazing industries within that sector as well. Applied sciences, so this covers quite a wide area. So it covers things like psychology, sociology, criminology, as well as biosciences, so biomed and animal biology, things like that. And then it also covers our sports programs as well. So we have sports and exercise science, physical activity and health, and you know, a variety of things there. Arts and creative industries. So again, like you can see there, it covers journalism, public relations, film, TV. We also have kind of graphic design, game design and things as well. So all of our kind of design-based programs, music, all of that sort of thing. And we have really specialist studios set up on our Merchiston campus. So we have film studios, we have music studios, everything all ready for students to go in and have all of the facilities they'd need to learn that industry as well. School of Computing. So again, this covers a lot of areas. So you've got general computing, computing science. We have cybersecurity and things as well. We also do software engineering. And a range of different areas like data science and things as well. So if you are interested in computing, we've got a wide range of options there. Engineering in the built environment. So within engineering, we cover 3 main areas. So we do civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering. They're the 3 main areas that we do focus on. And then we have software, so that sits under the School of Computing. But in the School of Engineering, those are the 3 areas that we do. And then the built environment, we do things like quantity surveying and things as well. We have architectural technology and a good range of different subjects there as well. And finally, School of Health and Social Care. Unfortunately, at undergraduate level, this is mainly nursing, and at the moment we aren't able to accept any undergraduate students. onto our nursing programs, that's all due to the NHS and the funding that we get from them. So unfortunately, this is more kind of postgraduate level for international students. So moving on to student accommodation, you can see in this photograph, this is one of our kind of flats here. So it's got a kind of ensuite bathroom, which is just out of the picture, and then a bed and a study area within the room, and that will be within a flat of up to, I think it's normally between 5 and 8 rooms within a flat. So everyone would have their own individual room. Most are ensuite, some would have a shared bathroom, and then you'd have a communal kitchen and living area as well within your flat. So we've got 3 self-catered accommodation sites. None of our accommodation is catered. Some universities do have that, but we don't. They're all very close to to each of the campuses as well, so it is really easy to get to the campuses. And we do guarantee accommodation for all of our first year students. So if you are coming to us at undergraduate level, in your first year, we will guarantee a space for you. If you would like to take it, you don't have to, but most students do, because it's a great way to meet people when you first join, especially if you're coming from overseas. You know, I know we totally understand that it is very daunting, and there's a lot of change. So one of the best ways that we can support you with that is providing you with, you know, other people around you that are also going through the same experience as you are, you know, either moving to another country or moving to another part of the UK, away from home for the first time. So it's a great way to kind of, you know, have some support around you with that. Other support available, leading on very nicely. We have a lot of support services for our students. So I'll run through this list very quickly because there are a lot of things on this list. So we have a dedicated international support team. They are also our visa team. So they're the ones who would issue any CAS letters and support you with your visa application. They also run things such as pre-arrival sessions for any new students that will be arriving. So for September, throughout August, they ran a few online pre-arrival sessions that anyone that was starting with us in September could join, and they gave them advice on, you know, what to expect when they arrive, the things they need to do first, and just tips and tricks, and, you know, answered any questions they had and tried to address any concerns they had about coming to the UK. They also run welcome sessions for our international students when they do arrive, and that's a great way to meet other international students, again, that have also just come to the UK, so you can kind of, you know, meet up and explore together and figure things out together as well. All the weird kind of, you know, culture shock things that you might have, they'll be going through the same things. Your own personal development tutor as well. So that will be an academic from your course. So if you are studying on the business management program, it will be a business management academic, and they will reach out to you within your first few weeks. You can set up an initial time to go and have a chat with them. And they're really your first port of call if you do have any issues right the way through your degree. If you ever needed an extension for whatever reason, you were struggling with some of the coursework, or you just had any sort of issue with the academics, go and have a chat with them. They're all really friendly, I promise, and they'd be happy to help you out. I've already touched on our Student Futures team. So academic skills, they're very similar. In terms of Student Futures, they'll run like drop-in sessions. They'll help you with kind of academic writing and things like that. So for example, they run an essay check service. So basically what you can do is you can set an appointment with them, go along, hand them a copy of your essay, and they will take a look at it. They will not write it for you, but what they will do is they will look over it and they'll maybe give you some suggestions on, you know, the academic flow of the paper, because academic writing is a skill, and it is a skill that you will be taught when you go to university, but it can take a bit of time and a bit of practice. But they will absolutely help you kind of, you know, learning how to structure your essays, the kind of language you need to use, all that sort of thing as well. So they're really, really helpful. English for academic purposes, again, very similar for our international students. If you do feel like you need some sort of support with the English side of things when you do arrive, you can set up one-to-one appointments with them. They also run some kind of wider drop-in classes and things that you can go along to if you like, just to give you a bit of extra support as well. Disability and inclusion. So if you did have anything that you wanted to disclose to the university, you can do so at application stage. Although if you don't feel comfortable then, you can do it afterwards. It's not a problem at all. no sort of disability or anything like that would ever have an effect on your application. It's just so we knew for when you started, so we could reach out to you and get the right things in place for you. They're really great. They will set up an appointment to discuss exactly what you need. It might be extra time during an exam. It might be being in a separate room or use of a computer, or something completely different. It might just be, maybe you're not particularly mobile and you need a little bit of help getting around campus. Whatever it might be, they can help you out with that as well. The iPoint, so that is our reception basically on each campus, and they have a wealth of knowledge about the university. They can also help you with things like the student funding letters or the student registration letters and things that you need to open a bank account, stuff like that. They're really, really helpful. So if you're ever not sure what to do in your own campus, go have a chat with them. They'll point you in the right direction. And finally, at the bottom, last but definitely not least, is student counselling and wellbeing. So it's not just your physical health that's important, your mental health and your well-being is also so important. And like we've mentioned before, we know how big a deal it is coming abroad. And starting university, no matter where you do it, it is a big deal and it is very daunting. So you want to know that you've got the support there if you need it, and you absolutely would do if you came to us at Edinburgh Napier. We have a fantastic team there that you can reach out to completely anonymously and get any support and advice that you might need. So moving on to academic requirements. So I focused on A-levels and GCSEs because as far as I'm aware, that's what most people here will be doing. We do also accept the International Baccalaureate because I've seen a few IB questions kind of flying around, and all of the IB criteria is also listed on our website on each individual webpage as well. The fact that you guys are doing the international A-levels and GCSEs is great because you have the exact same criteria as the A-level students in the UK. So it's really easy for me to point you to finding the entry criteria. If you go onto our website and you find the course that you like, on each web page, you will find the entry criteria listed. So you will see exactly what you need for every course listed on the website, which is very, very helpful. So all bachelor's programs require, that should be, I've made a typo there, I do apologize. That should be required 3 A-levels, not 4. So apologies for that. That was my typo when I was making this slide up. So all of our bachelor's programs require 3 A-levels, and some will have specific subject requirements. So I've listed a couple there just as examples. Our Bachelor of Arts Honours degree in Business Management, for example, requires a B and 2 Cs at A-level, and it requires a grade 4 in GCSE English. So if there's no additional subject really required there, that means that we don't mind what subjects you have your A-levels in. We don't mind at all. We do obviously just need the English grade at GCSE. However, for mechanical engineering, the grades are slightly lower. We look for 3 Cs at A-level, but that must include maths and a science. So something like physics or chemistry. I don't think we accept biology for mechanical engineering. It needs to be something like physics or chemistry. But again, those details are on the website. So if it doesn't have any specific subjects listed, that means we do not mind at all. But you can see for some of our more specialist subjects like mechanical engineering, we do have those additional requirements. And then also we do look for a 4, a C or a 4 in IGCSE English. For those who don't have A-levels and only have GCSEs, at the moment, we do not have a partnership with a pathway provider, but it is coming. I can't quite announce it yet, unfortunately, but we are hoping to have it in place for next September. So hopefully, if you don't quite meet the A-level requirements and you did want to come and study with us, we would have a pathway option for you and a foundation year option from next year. But as soon as we have more details on that, we will let you know, but we're working on it. Okay. So in general, for students that are doing international A-levels or international baccalaureate, if it's taught in English as well, and you've got English and English grade within your qualifications, then we wouldn't require IELTS. However, if you don't quite meet the English grade and you do need IELTS, these are the tests that we accept. So IELTS, TOEFL and Pearson's, same as most universities, and you can see the grades that we look for there. So our tuition fees, so these are the tuition fees for September 2022. We haven't officially got them confirmed for next September yet. I imagine they'll be very similar, but just I can't confirm them exactly yet because the university is still setting them. And for students from Indonesia, we do have one scholarship available and it's worth £3,000. So it's available for the first year of your undergraduate course, and there's a limited number, so it's done on a first come first served basis. There's no specific requirements as long as you meet the entry criteria. So, you know, if a course requires a B and 2 Cs, as long as you've met that at A level, and, you know, any subject requirements, as long as you've got that and got an offer, there's no additional requirements for the scholarship. The way it works is the first students to pay their deposits to us will be awarded the scholarship, and then when we run out of funding, then we won't issue any more. We do have a good number for Southeast Asia, and I would say most of our students do get it, but it's always a good way to, you know, encourage you to pay your deposits in early because you've got more chance of getting a scholarship as well. Okay, that was a bit of a whirlwind through the university and a bit about Scotland and everything in general. I hope it was helpful, and I'm really happy to answer any questions now. But there you can see the website and also Supra, my colleague's email address there as well. Like I say, he is the representative for Southeast Asia. So if you do want to reach out to him and have a chat, please do.
All right, thank you so much, Alice.
Thank you.
Very awesome presentation. And I actually have 3 questions on my chat box, so I'm going to read them. The first one, what is the different requirement for Scotland visa when compared to England for international students?
There is no difference at all. So like I say, some things are devolved and some things are the same. So visa requirements and anything to do with immigration is the same throughout the whole of the UK, so no difference.
All right, awesome. So next question, it actually has something to do with what you mentioned earlier in the presentation. You were talking about scholarship for Indonesian students. So I have 2 questions. Number 1, how many Indonesian students are currently studying at Edinburgh Napier University? And also, is there an association for Indonesian students there?
So sorry, what was the second question?
Is there any association for Indonesian students at the university?
Absolutely, yeah. So around 1/3 of our students are international. So we have around 20,000 students, and yeah, so around 6,000 to 7,000 international students currently studying with us. So a really, really high number. And yes, we do. We have loads of sports clubs and societies, and we have a few different international societies. We have just a general kind of international society for all international students. However, I'm aware that some students from certain regions like to set up their own societies as well. So I do believe there's a Southeast Asia Student Society as well. So you'd be able to join both of them, or, you know, one of them, whatever you wanted.
All right, last question, Alice. So which major has the most international students?
Business management is generally our biggest in terms of international students. Our business programs overall are definitely top when it comes to international. After that, I would say computing is really growing because computing, especially things like cybersecurity and stuff, are becoming so huge internationally as well. So that we see is kind of starting to catch business a little bit, but business is way out in front still.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks, Alice. This has been a very nice session to hear about Edinburgh Napier University, and hopefully there will be more Indonesian students studying at the university.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alice. Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, have a nice day. So
I'm just trying to stop. Sorry, I'm just trying to stop sharing. I can't figure out how to do it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you, Alice. Okay, school owners, leaders, management, thank you for this lovely session. And before we close the session, let's hear our closing remark from Ms. Prasasti Imani. Ms. Prasasti, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. As a wrap-up, only one thing that I would like to highlight in these sessions. So our Pearson Edexcel International Advanced Level is already recognized by the top university around the world, and the list is growing. Thank you very much to Duncan for the hard work. And leaders, if you have students that success to enter the other university, please do inform us so we can work together. We can add the university on the list so we can grow together. So if you have further questions or would like us to set up a one-on-one session with your schools and the university representative, do feel free to contact us. It's one of our ongoing support to Pearson Edexcel centers in Indonesia. Last but not least, thank you very much to all of the speakers, Duncan, Kian, Michelle, and Alice for the presentation today, and especially to Ken, the organizing of this event, and Ali for hosting this event. So over to you, Ali. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much, everyone. So this has been a very valuable session for everyone. And before we end this, I would like to remind everyone that we will have day 2 of this University Partnership Meet and Greet session. So for your information, we will have another nice lineup of speakers and presentation. So we will have our own Gordon Panstone, Client Relation Manager from for PTE, Percentage of English. And then we have Natalie Yap Gunawan. She's the Associate Director, Admissions at Monash University, Australia. Professor Dr. Leo Teck Khoi, Deputy Vice Chancellor at Hope University, Malaysia, and Claudia Wijaya, Deputy Country Manager at PSP Academy, Singapore. Do reach us via email if you need more information on the event, and please feel free to share the registration link, Zoom link, that we have shared in the chat box as well. All right, we do believe this two-day event will be a great help for the schools, universities, and also Pearson to work together to help students' progressions to higher learning. Again, thank you so much, everyone, and see you online tomorrow. Have a nice rest of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.